The Bears are no longer in the hunt. They are the hunted. That's right. Your Chicago Bears are in first place in the NFC North here in late October. Can you believe it? Playoffs in sight. We're going to be talking about it all here on CHGO Bears After Dark starting right now. Welcome back to CHGO Bears After Dark, presented by our good friends over at Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Make sure you download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, make sure you call 1-800-GAMBLER. I am your host, Greg Braggs Jr., alongside me, as always, are the three families. You got CHGO Sports, you got the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank, of course, of NFL Network fame, and Shyane Marsaw and Phil Ottochian from the Tape Never Lies Network. Appreciate everybody joining us on a Victory Monday here once again. We're starting to get used to these Victory Mondays. So much for 10-game losing streaks. Now we've got winning streaks we get to talk about. And boy, is it a beautiful thing as the Bears have now won 5 games where they've been down with 2 minutes to go and find a way to win. The Never Say Die Bears. It's like the Goonies, Adam Rank, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. They are the Goonies.
Yes. It's one of your top 5s along with Made and probably something else equally ridiculous. Not that the Goonies are. Goonies are actually, that's a good movie. You know, it's one of those things, and a friend of mine and I were talking about this 2 weeks ago, where it's just such a different universe to be in. That's 50 seconds. Like, okay, like we way too much time. It used to be a joke. Like he would make the jokes and be like, you gave Mitch Trubisky, you gave Mike Glennon too much time. Like it's hacky. It's something that you would expect from somebody at the NFL Network, not named me. But for other people, it'd be like, this is too much time for Tyrod Taylor or whatever it is. But legitimately, if you are giving this Chicago Bears team, and I'm not going to just say Caleb Williams, who's shown that he is clutch and he's got ice in his veins, but it's everybody. And it's permeated through the entirety of this roster. And we saw it yesterday with Duvernay and Cairo Santos, who both stepped up. So it's a good feeling.
Yeah, it really is. So let's kick this around. Phil, you're in the saddle here to start off the show. You know, for most of the season, you've had to join here later in the show because you yourself have been trying to coach your team to a championship. Unfortunately, Phil's Wolverines fell just short in the Super Bowl, but I know you got a lot to be proud of for your team and your players and your coaching staff. So we're happy to have you for the full hour, but sorry you came up short on the Super Bowl. How are things? I mean, the Bears had to make things feel a little better when you got home and saw how they pulled that victory out.
Yeah.
And then he saw Travis Homer on 3rd and 5, but go ahead, Phil.
I said, if there is a God, this kick will not be missed with the day I was having. So
did you think it was going in?
At first, I saw the kick going a little to the left, and I'm like, oh, no. And then it went straight down, and to have that moment with your sons and everyone's jumping in the living room, screaming, let's go, let's go. It was a great moment. And fortunately, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and company have given us many a Sunday like that, where I look back at my own uncle, Sam Retigliano, with the Cardiac Kids and Cleveland Browns back in the early 80s. That's what it feels like with the Chicago Bears. I said it on the last show, Greg. I don't know we have never had a quarterback that I could say was reminiscent of somebody like Brett Favre, I think of, where I just, no matter what the score was, like, you got to play to the final whistle with this guy. This is Caleb Williams, man. The escapability and the ability to put the ball on a dime wherever he is, whether he's getting smashed in the face and dropping an absolute pill onto DJ Moore, one-handing it, or stepping up in the pocket and ripping one across the field to Colston Loveland. The guy has been unbelievable. Haters are going to hate, but when you're a fan of football and a coach of it, and you see the game a little different, you realize there's something special here in the relationship that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and his team are developing, man.
Yeah, I mean, you always say it, identity. I think that's probably the word, you've said the most to me in our years of knowing each other, coming up on 8 years. It feels like almost getting up there to 10. It's been a minute.
Do I get a ring at 10?
You do. You get like a watch, a gold watch, something.
There you go. A brick.
Took Jenny 24
You get
years.
a brick. You get a brick. I'll send you a brick in the mail. But I mean, Shane, honestly, I was talking with Briggs yesterday, and I was gonna pick Zoomer's brain on this when I had the opportunity. He was at the game in Minnesota. Yeah. But the Bears, it feels like once every 8 years kind of have this season where everything falls into place. And then that's it. You get that 1 year. Now, this certainly feels like this has more lasting implications in terms of what the foundation is that Ben Johnson is building. But like, you look at the 2001 Bears and Mike Brown's back-to-back pick sixes, or the 2005 Bears when they got to the playoffs but lost to the Panthers ultimately in the playoffs, you've had a few different teams. Lovie Smith had a few different regimes there, at the beginning and the end, where everything fell into place. And then obviously you had the club dub 2018 Bears, but everybody is having a hand in this, Shane, whether it's Jake Moody, who's now on the Commanders, or Josh Blackwell with the block kick. Then you've got yesterday with Cairo and Devin Duvernay, who I was ready to oust both those guys off the team at halftime. And then they go and
you weren't alone.
Yeah, but they stepped up, and it's everybody seems to be taking a turn, at least in having their fingerprints on winning a ball game.
Yeah, it is different. I mean, it's to give Phil credit. He was the first one on Nagy, and that was in 2018 during the season. Yep. Everybody else is like, come on, we're winning.
And I hated
the coach, going to be coach of the year, all of that. But the ultimate separator, we know what it is. It's Mitch versus Caleb. And that is a massive difference in the way that we broke things down on tape. We didn't have Mitch at the top of anything. There was some people that did, but that, to me, that's the ultimate separator. And listen, we all know the bumps in the road, and everybody wants to get stuck on the generational label when it comes to Caleb Williams. There's bumps in the road. I don't care who the Bears are playing. Carmen Yurko were talking today about, look at this list of quarterbacks they faced. Like, we've never lost to bad quarterbacks before as Bears fans.
Right.
I mean,
we lost to Snoop Huntley. Like,
right,
yeah,
exactly. We can lose to anybody. We've seen it. We've lived it. Now you're going over these bumps in the road, and you're winning, and you're winning in dramatic fashion. It's fun, man. We all deserve this.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely do. It's exciting. It's something that we should embrace. And yes, you can pick apart the schedule. The Bears haven't beaten a team that has a winning record. I also think that's somewhat of a flawed or skewed stat when you consider when they played Washington, they were a good football team at that point. I know they haven't won a game since, but Jaden Daniels was the quarterback of that team, and they had just come off a huge win against the Chargers, a very convincing win. And then the Bears beat them in their house. And then when you look at the Bengals, I think that's another one where it's like, yeah, they're a bad football team, but they're not the Jake Browning Bengals. You face Joe Flacco, who had a career game against a defense that certainly in the Bears that has had a ton of injuries and still has to work through those injuries to this day. So, it's every team can look at their schedule and say they've played some, lesser opponents, but Rank, you're the one that's been calling out some of these, the doubteds. You have been on the money. Once again, yesterday, you had another pick against the whole field you took was the Broncos over the Chiefs, correct? And so,
it's funny because there's a lot of similarities between the Broncos and the Bears, and it's not just the color scheme of the uniforms or anything like that. Although, I would love to have the Broncos defense at this point, but that notwithstanding, but it's a lot of things like people just don't want to give credit to these teams because you already have a built-in bias that you thought Denver was going to be bad coming into the season, so you'll never hedge off that. You thought the Bears were going to be bad coming into the season. You thought that Caleb Williams was already a bust. You're never going to hedge off of that. And sometimes it just pays off to fade the public. So yesterday it was kind of funny. Not only did the Denver Broncos go out there and put some actual production value in retweeting something that I did, they mocked it up. And then Sean Payton not only retweeted, double checked with one of my colleagues who he's close with. It was like, hey, Rank's cool, yeah? And my colleague, my good friend was like, of course he is. So Sean Payton and I are now buddies. But it's funny, too, because, never apologize for winning games in this league, especially when you go on the road. I thought that Ben Johnson put it perfectly yesterday in his locker room speech where he was talking about, look, this was a very similar game to the one that we played in week 1, where we got up to a big lead or a decent enough lead and then bottled it. And then J.J. McCarthy comes in and does his thing. And I actually really like J.J. McCarthy, so I'm not going to be one of these guys, one of these lava pigs who starts trying to discredit J.J. McCarthy. But in week 1, we lost. We were not able to overcome that. Week 11, now the Bears have learned, have gotten so much better that they overcame the adversity, made the adjustment, and went out there and win it. You want me to sit here and apologize for it? You want me to feel bad about it? Like, listen, Lions, you held the Eagles to 16 points, and you couldn't go out there and win? That's on you. Don't get mad at us. Don't point at our flaws. We understand it. I think most of us can understand, this isn't the greatest NFL team of all time. But am I going to sit here and apologize for being 7-3? No. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's well said. And, we have a few different super chats in here. And I like this one because it's from Eric Beauchamp. Well, this is a super chat, but Beauchamp, who's always in our chats, I appreciate our support. He goes, I was born in 1977. So finally the age reveal from Eric Beauchamp. It says the Bears are 380 and 387 in my lifetime. I need them to make the playoffs a few years in a row. It feels like things are starting to turn. And then you got Ed BTZ coming in saying for $5 super chat, appreciate your support to the program. He says, I would like to point out that we could very well be 5-5 without Loveland. Bengals game and big catch versus the Giants in the 4th to help lead the game-winning drive. And that's the thing, whether it's Loveland, whether it's Caleb, whether it's Blackwell, whether it's Moody, whether it's Cairo, whether it's Duvernay, whether it's Nashawn Wright falling on the fumble when Jaden Daniels let it go. It's one guy after another continues to make plays for this team, and it's been a lot of fun to see. We're going to get into some different things as the show carries on. Some big moments for Ben Johnson, I felt like, from a play calling standpoint. Cole Kmet is somebody we're going to talk about here later on as somebody that I thought really had a big game in terms of what the identity of this team is. It's been a lot of fun here seeing this kind of cultivate this physical identity that you see first and foremost with the offensive line, but also with Colston Loveland and and Durham Smythe and Cole Kmet getting in the action, not just in the passing game, but in the pass blocking game and the run game for what they're doing is commendable. And then you've got Ed BTZ saying Loveland probably the most reliable target, to be honest, with his hands for a $2 super chat. Thank you, Ed TBZ. So we're going to take a quick 2-minute timeout, give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, and of course, Shady Rays as well. But when we come back, we're going to look ahead. We'll continue to wind back to yesterday and enjoy this victory Monday, but Adam's got 15 more minutes with us, and I want to ask him about a certain somebody that might be playing quarterback here on Sunday versus the Chicago Bears. So hit the like button, hang out, 2 minutes away, and we're going to bash Aaron Rodgers, so don't go away. Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. So bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season, whether it's props, futures, or in-game. Circa Sports has it for you. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. It is coming up on week 12 of the NFL season, and can you believe it? The Chicago Bears are in first place in the NFC North. Make sure you're making your money off the Chicago Bears as they're 7-3 on the season, and make sure you're using Circa Sports Illinois when you do that. So download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older, of course, and gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. But Circa Sports Illinois is the app for you. That's how you're going to make your money. And of course, college basketball season. Plenty to choose from, a lot of money to make. Make sure you're hitting them up with Circa Sports Illinois. And also want to give a shout out to our good friends over at Shady Rays, who have been with us since the very beginning. Shady Rays has been changing the game from day one because these sunglasses are made for real life, seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And the craziest thing is, hey, listen, if you were at the tailgate last week, or if you were at the game on Sunday in Minnesota, you might have left your glasses on the roof of your car as you were driving away, or maybe you stepped on them and broke them. Here's the wildest thing about Shady Rays. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair, no guilt trip, just replacements. Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back, and we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. So head to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses, and try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right, we are back here on CHGO Bears After Dark. Make sure you hit the like button while you're hanging out. We got a little longer here with Adam Rank, and then we'll get into some of the audio from Ben Johnson here from the press conference here earlier this afternoon. But eyes are now set on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Can the Bears move to 8-3 on the season? But once again, as we did with Joe Flacco, as we did with Lamar Jackson, the will he or won't he play at quarterback. Now Aaron Rodgers, who apparently broke a bone in his wrist, couldn't finish the game for the Steelers. Mason Rudolph finishes it out. Where do you stand on this, Rank? This is the meatball temperature check of the program. Do you want Aaron Rodgers to play in this game? Is this I want Rodgers because I want to beat him last time potentially at Soldier Field? Or is it sit at home, stay warm, let the Bears get to 8 wins with a backup quarterback? Where do you stand on this?
Yeah, I know when we were gearing up for Lamar Jackson and everybody was like, I want to face Lamar Jackson. I'm like, you're an insane person. Like, we don't want to face Lamar Jackson. He's just too good. But I do think with Aaron Rodgers, it's a little bit different in the, like, we need to be the person who eventually, I want to be the one who drives the stake into his heart. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like a movie where you're just like, hey, like the, who are they playing? I forget who it was, but like, you're like, hey, we've bloodied him. Like, and they throw us the dagger and they're like, finish him. And, and Rodgers just has to sit there with his defeatist, kind of like when Obi-Wan eventually kills Darth Maul in Star Wars Rebels. Sorry, spoiler alert. Like, eventually you just got to do it and just got to put him down. I would love that. And I don't fear, like, that's the one thing is, like, I don't fear him. I don't fear this Pittsburgh Steelers team. I don't think that the Bears should be able to go out there and win. And I'm not arrogant about it. I'm not cocky about it. When I tweet out, are we the best team in the league? I'm doing it tongue in cheek and just to have a little bit of fun. But, like, we should go out and beat this team regardless of who the quarterback is. And in some part of me, like, if you took the nameplates off the back, Mason Rudolph actually looks like the better quarterback because he can throw the ball down the field. So, I'm not going to get caught up into it, but I would love to see, I would love to beat Aaron Rodgers on his way out the door.
Where you stand, Phil, because we thought in 2018 when we were at Soldier Field as the Bears won the division over the Packers on a beautiful December afternoon, that was the moment that we were hitting the final, swing of the axe on Aaron Rodgers in his career with the Packers. The guy just won't go away. That was 2018. And yet here we are still dealing with this guy. Now he's with Pittsburgh, but the Bears were able to win that game, but we didn't slay the dragon. Rodgers is back. Where are you at? You want all the Rodgers smoke? Because I got to be honest. I know this sounds terrible, and I know I'll get beat up by it, but I'm always going to be honest. Aaron Rodgers terrifies me, and I want nothing more than the Bears to make the playoffs. If you told me they're going to win no matter what, of course I want to play Aaron Rodgers, but I just want the Bears desperately to make the playoffs, and I don't care what the schedule looks like or who the quarterbacks are. Give me a win next Sunday, and if that means the easier quarterback's going to trot out there, I'm not going to complain about that.
Well, I'm the opposite of you. I think I definitely want to see Aaron Rodgers out there. I'm a big, let's put down the dragon and slay it. And someone who talks that talk all the time and as arrogant as can be, I want an ownership contract back to Chicago in regards to that. I just think it would be great for the team and football to see. You always want to play the best anyway. I don't want to. You already have the hater nation. I mean, I've never been a part of a team that's grown in the first year of a coach. Chicago's actually hired their first football coach in so long, maybe since Lovie Smith, we'll say. And they're growing together, this relationship with their quarterback, and the defense is, shuffling players in and out. And here's this emotional win each and every week. You want to line that up against Aaron Rodgers and put his, down. And that's where you want him to have this journey and have the fans have that moment to get after him. And that sense of rivalry is fun. And again, it would be in Pittsburgh and not Green Bay, but the point is relevant. And I think it's one with which just continues to build the character and the identity, Greg, of this football team going forward.
Yeah, and the chat's certainly on your side. I mean, I guess, obviously, Shane, give your thoughts on this whole Rodgers thing, but you're pretty good with this. Do you think he actually will play, or is he just toying with us?
That's the thing. You never know with that guy. He's all about the dramatics and the theatrics of all of that. So,
does he have his own secret medicine that's gonna heal his broken?
Yeah, he's doing ayahuasca right now, trying to get ready. I'm sure. But yeah, I'm with Phil on this. I want Aaron Rodgers, under center in Soldier Field, because I think if the Bears, it's important. Obviously, you want the Bears to win. I think if you go out there and you beat Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's more important to this young football team than it is beating Mason Rudolph and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it's something that you can carry on, because say whatever you want about Aaron Rodgers, he's still a legitimate quarterback. And for all of the haters, however you want to put it, the people that saying that the Bears haven't faced any legitimacy at quarterback, well, there you go. And to quote our guy Sean Stewart, our TTNL Network patron, let's end him like we ended Brett Favre.
Yep.
Let's do the same thing.
Well, that's why I said, Corey Wooten, who does our shows.
Wooten,
I was like, look, man, we need a pass rush, and we also need, a dragon slayer out there on Sunday.
Will he sign a one-day contract?
That's what I'm saying. Get out there. And then
we
Briggs
need a defensive end.
And then Briggs, was, of course, I brought this up to Briggs. He's like, come on, man. You see how old he is? He can't play. His shots fired. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Woot's going to come out of retirement or not, but I get it. And I know I'm always going to be honest. So I didn't have to admit that live on the air, Rodgers is just somebody that puts a lot of fear in my heart. I hate Aaron Rodgers, and I know how much he loves to stick it to Bears fans. I've been to many Bears Packers games where he had discount double check.
A lot more than 400 people are going to watch this show. So
yeah,
you just outed
but
yourself.
But isn't it like one of the
it hurts when they're there and he's doing that to us. And this is a special season. And so, of course, if they beat them, great. Because I agree, the stair step of beating, from Minnesota on the road, which is a good challenge. Then Rodgers at home, another good challenge. I think stair steps your way to one of their toughest games of the year against Philadelphia on Black Friday. So I see the vision. But ultimately, I just want them to make the playoffs at this point. I wasn't sure if they had the ability to win enough games to put themselves in this kind of contention. Now they're in first place, and all I want is to see these last 7 games through. And let's talk about doing a Bears After Dark preview and a wild card game. Like, that is the dream for me now. And however we got to get it, I don't really care at this point.
Yeah, but like the thing of it is like, for as badly as he has owned us all of these years, if we don't get to play him, he still gets that, like, well, you never beat me finally. Like, I still got away. Like, he is the bad guy and the villain who does not get put down. Like, we're going to be watching, it's the Christmas season coming up, and watching Die Hard, and the blonde-haired guy comes up with the machine gun. Like, the dad from the dad from Family Matters has to put that guy down. That's what we need to do. Ben Johnson will be the guy who pulls the trigger on that. Ben Johnson knows too. Like, that's one of the things that I've really admired about Ben Johnson is that, look, he wasn't in Chicago last year when we lost to the Commanders, but he knew how big of a game that was for us. And he went out there and made sure that we got that one. And I think similarly, he knows how special it would be to face Aaron Rodgers and beat him. And I think that it's one of those things that he wants to go out there and do for us, because he's invested in us as much as we are with him. And it's funny too, because, like, I'm just thinking about this, and I know, like, it's something that you tweeted out where you're like, the Bears aren't even good and we're in first place. Like, that's okay. If that is everybody's argument, like, that's what people are saying. Like, you guys aren't good, but you're in first place, because you can't argue against that. I really think, because, like, what Ben Johnson has always said was that this team was going to hit its stride in December. So we haven't really had to uncork Luther Burden III, Colston Loveland, or any of that stuff. Like, we haven't even shown you all of our cards. We haven't shown you all the tricks. We'll run out Travis Homer on 3rd and 5, but still, we don't have to show you all of the tricks. Listen, by the way, we can sit here and pan that play, but that was one of the worst missed face mask calls I have ever seen.
2 on
it.
It happened
2.
Twice.
Unbelievable.
How could they miss both?
No, it's the NFL. It's what they do.
He was looking right at it on Travis. That was unbelievable.
I don't understand how this team doesn't get face mask calls, because it's not the first one that hasn't been called.
I would coach it. I would coach it up
back on Caleb, where his face mask is grabbed as well in this game. I'm gonna have to put it up for you.
Coach it up and be like, if I was the opposing team, if I was Mike Tomlin, I'd be like, grab their face mask on every play. They're not going to call it. Try it out. See how many plays do you think they would go before? I would say the 9th.
That's
the 9th. They would finally be like, okay, guys, stop grabbing their face mask.
Carroll thing that he's, back with the Legion of Boom. Their secondary. They, defensive pass interference. Like, they're not going to call it every down.
Yeah,
so do what you got to do.
Yeah. It's smart coaching.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting here. We'll see about Aaron Rodgers. He's going to do everything he can to try to play. It's his non-throwing hand, but
if you beat Aaron Rodgers, Kevin Warren might get 2 game balls.
Yeah, right.
That was another thing too. Yeah. Well, happy birthday to Kevin Warren. Now get us a stadium. Yeah. But you know what? Now I'm at the point now where I'm actually like, hey, I think Arlington Heights is the perfect place. But if they're going to screw around and let this pass the calendar year, and then all of a sudden the region falls into the sites, there's nothing I would love more than for Phil and Shyane to come visit me in the region and their Chicago Bears.
Do you know how many times I've been there and you never knew?
Well, this time we're gonna know. Okay, sir. Because the Chicago Bears might be in the region.
Hey,
She hears you. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you finally got your new Dodgers championship hat because the last one, that white one, was ugly. This one,
What is it? Are you still like trading off that thing from like 3 weeks ago? Like, let it go. Like, there's no fan base that lives in the past more than the Dodgers.
The Angels hat's in black and white. It's been so long. So
it really was in black and white. Yeah, it was. I've also let it go. I also don't cling to it. I look forward. I don't constantly look back.
Yeah, well, exactly. The past is for losers and cowards. So time to move on, Shane, with your silly little championships. Okay, back in the mud with.
I couldn't wear my Alabama hat, so
yeah. Well, they took the L.
These teams are problematic.
They took the L, and then Shane wanted to take it out on me on Twitter after they lost.
No, your mother.
All right, well, we're going to let Rank go, take another quick little timeout, and when we come back, we got some sound from Ben Johnson today. We're going to talk a little bit about Cole Kmet. We're going to talk about some of the personnel usage that Ben Johnson distributed in this last game, some interesting things from that standpoint. So don't go away. Once again, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as we are gearing towards 100,000 subscribers here on CHGO Sports. Excited for that show here coming up here in maybe a month. Maybe do a 24-hour marathon when we get there. So 2 minutes away. We'll come back.
Love you,
Have
Rank.
a good one, Rank. We love you
guys.
See you, man.
And we'll see. I'll see you on Wednesday, and we'll see you next Monday. We'll be back. Stay tuned. More Bears talk coming. Hey, listen, guys. Now is as good a time as ever to become a diehard here at CHGO Sports. Head to allchgo.com/diehard to sign up. And hey, Bears fans, if you use the code JOHNS for Adam Johns, that's JAHNS, you get the deal of the year. $36 for an entire year. You get exclusive written content right to your door, whether it's from Adam Johns or Adam Hogue with their insider analysis weekly. Mark Carman, Patrick Norton, we are covering the beat from all different angles, and that is why you want to become a diehard. And hey, you get a free shirt as soon as you sign up. We have a bunch of different options at your disposal. These are included in that. As soon as you sign up, free shirt. As soon as you get on board, then you get discounts on all future merchandise purchases, and then you also get discounts on events, whether it's a watch party or a draft party, or of course our tailgates. We cover it end to end. We even have a Discord channel to get you off those Facebook groups and Twitter where nobody knows what they're talking about when it comes to the Chicago Bears. Well, you can come to our Discord channel where they are locked into all Bears all day, and that is what you get when you become a diehard. So head to allchgo.com/diehard to sign up. And once again, a quick reminder here, coming up on Sunday, our tailgate. You don't have to be a diehard to come to our tailgate, but you get a discount if you do. But if you want to get your tickets at allchgo.com/events, we are going to be once again at the corner of Wabash and Cermak for the gold standard in Chicago Bears tailgating, the place to be to pregame for your Chicago Bears as we welcome Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers to town. It is the biggest game since 2018 as the Bears are 7-3 for the first time since 2018. The first time that they are at first place in the NFC North since 2018. So come on out for the biggest tailgate in years. You will not want to miss it. The house is going to be jumping. Hope you can join us. That's right. House will definitely be jumping at the corner of Wabash and Cermak. Excited for that tailgate. It's going to be a fun one for sure. Appreciate everybody hanging out. So let's get into it, guys. We've got some different things to get to. And let's start out with Luther Burden. Adam Rank brought this up as, he was talking about, how impressed he's been with Ben Johnson and different things. Last week, a lot of fans were calling for it, and they were like, hey, time for Luther to take Olamide Zaccheaus' snaps. And Phil, Shane, I know we've been through this with other coaches where there's something so blatantly obvious, but the coaching staff just won't do it. Well, Olamide Zaccheaus only came away, I believe, with 10 snaps on the game total. And Luther Burden got the lion's share. I know he had a drop at one point. There's another one early in the game where Caleb and him couldn't completely connect, but they also did connect on some other plays as well. I really liked that screen pass they called on third down to Luther Burden in the second half. That was a slick play and really good execution. So, What are you guys' thoughts on this? Because like Shyane, we've talked about this a million times. Phil, I know how much you've talked about coaches with accountability, make the
that's the
changes
key.
when they're staring you in the face. This coaching staff, whether it's left tackle, whoever it is, whether they got to bump Dio Dangbo inside because he's not producing outside, and now here comes Luther Burden taking Olamide Zaccheaus' role as wide receiver 3.
It's not that hard. That's where your rhetorical question seems to lie. When it's obvious, coaches should make a change, hold a standard, and have accountability. And it just hasn't happened. And here is another reason why I'm telling fans, yes, we definitely have a coach. This is real. There is a standard, there's a personality, there's accountability, there is action. There's not just talk. There's not just players only meetings. This is a coach that has the big understanding of what's down the road is as important as the now. And I can't say enough that you haven't had this since Ditka, that standard, that a tone is going to be set, an expectation is going to be had, and Ben is holding that to a standard of what it is. The team is a reflection of me, and we will have that each and every Sunday. And, you know, everybody's going to question the coach. It's just comes with the job. And, you know, I'll question some of his play calls, but this is an A+. It was so obvious that Zaccheaus, who Shyane and I honestly really were excited about, this kid showed a lot early in the season, but the drops become continuous. Now you hope the same standard happens with the running back position for me in regards to Britton Brown versus Roschon Johnson. I don't think it's even close. And I just continue to say that. But this was outstanding. And I don't want to take all of Shyane if you want to talk about it, but I think what Luther Burden has brought is consistent eyes and hands catching with Loveland. The two rookies seem to be more polished in regards to
the most fluid catchers on the team.
Yeah, with that versus the other guys letting it get into their bodies and dropping the ball. And I know Burden had a drop, but to your point, the screen ball, and there was another play where he just fingertip catches. His eyes are on the football. Like I've done this my whole life. That's why I laugh at fans when he's throwing too hard. Like, no, this is the NFL. The ball's got to get there.
That second throw you talk about was, I believe, was a 20-yard inside dig. And it was a timing throw too. And Caleb had the ball out before the break. It was on the money. Luther, all hands. I was a little surprised he didn't stay on his feet, but he did have a defender incoming. But
Ben Albright said it was the highest rated frame rate he's ever recorded. It's kind of an inside joke, but
I don't know what that means, but he probably did.
It's Phil knows.
Oh man.
But that's the thing, you look at Luther Burden, and we talked about it pre-draft. I'm on record of saying, I'm like, if he makes it to 39, it was the night we had Matt Waldman on, and he was in agreement. I had him as my wide receiver 1 in the entire draft. And you listen to Caleb talk about it yesterday, you could see Caleb, being a pro, but not wanting to go overboard with the praise for the guy, but him just saying, we're building and it's going to take us some time to get there, but we're going to get there and all of that. But he's the most explosive wide receiver and the best catcher of the football that you have on the team. The most natural at it, I should say.
Yeah.
Luther Burden is. And then, like Phil said, you throw in Colston. Listen, nobody has been more critical of the Chicago Bears drafting Colston Loveland at number 10 than TTNL. And it's nothing to do with his talent. I'm done complaining about it. He has shown why they did it. In not just a catch here and there, a critical catch, critical moments. his third down play yesterday was what we've been begging to see from a tight end in Chicago. Then you turn around and to bring Cole into this equation, it permeates. Cole was doing it all game long, and we've been screaming since 2020 for that. That first
Cole's
hit,
best game as a pro, in my opinion.
oh, I agree, and he had 45 yards.
Exactly. And I believe the Loveland presence
Sure.
is waking up the dragon of who Cole needs to and should be. I've stood next to Cole. I know you're close with Cole, and I've said this on my show. I've never said it here, but he built a tight end in Cole Kmet. It's like, holy, this kid is huge. He's athletic. What he lacked is athletic confidence, as Shyane is effortless catching and dropping your pads and punishing people. That's what the job entitles. And to see him do it yesterday should be a doorbell going off for Cole saying, that's who you are, bro.
Could be massive for this offense moving forward. If you get both of those guys going, massive.
But didn't he come on a podcast with you this past week? So maybe it was because of you.
So this is, I agree. No pressure, Cole, but maybe we don't want to, milk the cow too hard. But at the same time, he comes on the show, has a great game. But we won't take the credit here. But I think this is a good segue because Ben Johnson did talk about not just Cole Kmet, but Caleb Williams getting the ball out quickly, and then Cole and the way he was finishing some of these runs and what that meant to the players on the sideline. So I want to bring that audio to you. And this is Ben Johnson talking about Caleb, talking about Cole Kmet, and talking about the identity of this Bears football team. So here it is, Ben Johnson.
Sticking with tight end, what did you like about the way Caleb found Cole in the flat a few times, and kind of the way he adjusted to the blitz, or if you guys were rushing the line after a quick play? It seemed like he was really trusting Cole and getting the ball to him quickly.
Yeah, no, he did a nice job. We came into this game wanting to be very completion driven. And yet when you look at the stat sheet, we weren't as high completion percentage as we would like to be, or as efficient. And I think there's a number of reasons for that. But I do think that was him getting quickly to Cole was what we wanted to see this game. That was by design. I thought he had one early on where, we got some play actions going on, down the field type throws, and it's not there. And he's quick to throw him a good runner's ball on the sideline. It happened to be on the Viking sideline that he caught it, and he turned it into a 6-7 yard gain. But ball location is paramount when he does that. A couple of those hurry-up plays, it's same thing. They're bringing the corner pressures, and so they're leaving the flats unattended to, and he's recognizing that quickly and getting the ball out and allowing Cole to run with it. And I thought Cole played one of his best games he has so far this year. And I get he caught a couple more balls, but I'm not even talking about that. He's great in the running game, and then pass pro, we put him in some tough matchups there on some of their defensive end or outside linebacker types, and I thought he did an outstanding job throughout that. And then when he was a ball carrier, you felt his presence out there. He was lowering his shoulder, he was stiff arming. He brought our sideline to life a couple of times.
And there it is from Ben Johnson. I mean, you guys called it there, one of his best games of his career, in your opinion, and Ben saying his best game of the year for what he's done under Ben Johnson. It was impressive.
Ben reminded me there, and I didn't hear Ben talk, but there's two specific plays where I texted Shyane because I was catching up because of the Super Bowl. Cole Kmet is coming on a wham, and he has to angle and get to a different launch to make the backside block on a run for Manungai or Swift, and he has not been that good doing it. And this game, it was like, wow, great block, Cole. Like, that's what I'm saying during the game.
Yeah, one of them was on the Manungai touchdown in the first half. He comes across, and when you talk about Ben Johnson making the same things look different things look the same. So if you look at the one play where he knocks Isaiah Rodgers out of the game, he's coming across the line of scrimmage but then comes open. That was maybe I'm getting my plays confused, but there was also the play where Caleb made that fantastic throw on the free blitzer coming off the edge, and Cole is coming across, which might look like a wham block, but he gets rid of it and gets it to Cole. Now on the touchdown pass, he's coming across the same way, or touchdown run, I should say. He's coming across the same way, but nails Josh Metellus and angles him in a way that opens the floodgate for Kyle Monungai to walk in for an easy touchdown.
The one that knocked Isaiah Rodgers out, I thought Cole was going to be out also on that one. That was,
I thought Rodgers went for a headshot.
I said to my son when we were watching, I'm like, oh man, I think we just lost Cole, because they both, that was a monster shot between
biggest.
And I obviously wasn't rooting. I wasn't rooting for him to come out of the game, but when you see a shot like that, you are a little surprised that he didn't get looked at after that. Obviously, he got right back up, went to the huddle, but those are the kind of hits that even as a fan that wants blood for the other team, you cringe a little bit, because those are hits that stay with you forever.
A targeting call on him, not Cole, the defender, but the biggest shot of the game was Monungai on 44. Monungai on 44. Just, I am talking a level of short area explosion I have not seen since the greatest of all, Walter. I mean, I can't believe 44 stayed in the game and they didn't look at him. The shot he did, it's by the goal line as they're driving in. Oh my God. That was impressive power and explosion.
Well, let me share this with you, because as Ben talked about how much he appreciated not just what Cole was doing in the passing game as a receiver and a ball carrier, but what he was doing as a blocker. This was Cole Kmet last week. He did join our show, and we asked him about, what makes this team special, or what has it been about this team. And he talked about that physical identity and how everyone wants to get in on the action. So here's Cole Kmet from last week on the CHGO Bears podcast.
We see it all and we feel it all. And I think that's just become part of our identity as a group. And that's been really cool to see, kind of not something that we've really had here in years past. And I think everyone's kind of wanting to get their licks at it. I know that's how I feel when I'm out there as part of the run game, and, we want to go dominate the guy across from us. So we've really kind of taken that, embodied that. And we see it every week from guys all across the line of scrimmage. We see it from the receivers, and it's been cool to see. And I think it's going to be a big part of our culture and identity going forward. So, like I said, that's all the stuff that we're going to need here, especially as the weather turns here in Chicago.
Nice.
You gotta love hearing that, right? It's music to our ears.
100%.
It is 100%. Gotta get that going. I loved, honestly, I'm not just repeating, but I felt like I don't care about the yards. It was the blocks, the effort, and the toughness that Cole showed on Sunday. That I even said it on my post-game rant, like, I've always been hard on Cole, and that's why. That's the guy that I want to see, that goes out there and drops his shoulders and punishes people instead of being the guy getting punished, where he's so athletic and big. But good stuff from Cole, and Loveland should not be overlooked. What he's able to do. He is an athletic move guy. I see why, to Shane's point, why the Bears were high on him. He's showcasing a similar style. I'm not saying it's him, but it really pops off. The confident catching, running over, and absolutely outrunning people like George Kittle. He has that kind of athletic ability, and there's an ability that some people have to track a football in its air. I mean, last week against the Giants, when the ball's thrown behind him and he's able to fingertip, adjust his body in the air. I mean, you can't. People just take it for granted what that was. And then this week, throwing the ball to him and he's adjusting on third down, getting the ball. It's been a very, very good thing. And obviously everyone knows the Bengals game, what he was able to do there in contact. He's really making them look smart here in regards to what they needed.
And I was a little surprised to hear Shane, you laid down the sword on Loveland being picked at 10, because I know how strongly you feel they needed to take an edge, and that still could have ended up being the smarter move for everything this Bears team needs. They didn't have a sack on Sunday, but when we talked about what this team needed, that was to address the trenches.
Yeah.
And as much as, yes, a pass rusher certainly would have done that. While you can easily be critical of the Loveland pick, is that a luxury pick, or even the Ozzie Trapillo pick, they both have made not just a huge impact with the passing game with Loveland, but both those guys from a blocking standpoint have actually been huge pieces to the puzzle of why this run game has been so successful.
Well, right. And that's Phil and I talked a little bit offline today about this. And, the next thing is where you're going to see everybody start to pivot to in terms of the run game has cranked up, obviously, since the bye week and since Benedict got in there. But it's also where you started to see more issues with the passing game come in, is when Benedict got in there, because that's the big mark right now. That's the thing that you have circled, and that's going, not to get way ahead of ourselves, but this is the thing. You can't look at Theo and say he's good enough, because that's exactly what you did with Braxton Jones. You can't. If there's somebody there staring you in the face that you feel like is a big time left tackle, Theo Benedict is a non-factor, and then you just create amazing depth on your team.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to have to look at left tackle in the first round here coming up this year. Theo Benedict's been a great story, but I guarantee that's something Ben will look at. I know everybody is fawning over Jeremiah Love, and as a Notre Dame fan, he has been fantastic, and maybe they do look at him when you look at his history with, taking Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit, or at least being part of that decision-making process. But at the same time, you might have to settle for a left tackle in the first round, and then maybe the backup running back for Notre Dame, Jadarian Price, who's not too bad in his own right, might go, in one of those later rounds. But that's definitely a conversation for another day. I will be going to the Notre Dame game on Saturday as they take on your boys from Syracuse at Notre Dame.
Ouch.
I haven't been to a Notre Dame game in a few years, so I'm excited to get there.
Go.
But when we talk about the run game, I think one of the things we missed the boat on our post-game show, at least, because your head's kind of spinning when the game's over. But, man, what a play call on 3rd and long right before the field goal kick. It almost got them a first down.
The screen.
And the combo block of Darnell Wright and Jonah Jackson. Jonah drives his guy 10 yards, leading the way, where Swift nearly gets the first down, and that would have completely iced the game, given the Bears to make that kick even more makeable for Cairo. Unfortunately, he falls just short of the sticks, so the Bears had somewhat of a tricky decision there. They choose to kick the field goal. Thankfully, Cairo is able to make it. But between that decision and then early in the first half on the 15-play touchdown drive that ended with Monungai getting in the end zone, Cole with the wham block on Metellus, there was a 3rd and 4 there where they ran. I know how much you love gun run, Phil, but they did run gun run with Monungai, and he laid Metellus out on that play, which I thought was actually a pretty crafty play call. They're all crafty when they work, but ultimately I kind of want to focus on that final play before the kick, because it's 3rd and long. You're thinking they're going to try to throw it, and instead he runs it, nearly gets the first down, and gets just enough yardage for Cairo to be in position to make a game-winning field goal. So here's Ben Johnson talking about that decision here today.
Yeah, it changes pretty quickly there, the dynamic of the game, when, you're going to have about 50 seconds and 3 timeouts, and you get a kick return like that. And so we were right on the fringe of where we felt comfortable with Cairo. And we know every 5 yards from there on out is a huge deal in terms of the make percentage. But our guys up front, they did a nice job getting us 9 yards. We needed all 9 of those 9 yards to feel really good about the spot that we were in. Had we been able to get the first down there, then maybe we can run it a couple more times and get even a little bit closer. But I think we handled the situation really well. I have a lot of confidence in those guys. I thought in the second half we did create some running lanes, and our backs took advantage of that. So we felt comfortable running it in that situation.
There it is, Ben Johnson on that decision there. I mean, I was not expecting a run there, and clearly the Vikings weren't either. And there was clearly a chess match going on between.
He's done it a lot.
Yeah, Brian Flores and Ben Johnson on. I saw. I think Zach Pearson brought out today how many condensed formations the Bears ran. Yesterday because of
you're going to face the blitz like this. You
75% blitz on drop back passes.
Right.
So Ben's like, okay, I'll run the ball here.
Yeah. Exactly. And speaking of this, isn't specifically about the blitz, but remember pre-draft, everything was he can't play from under center. He's never done it. You can't find a rep in college, which again, TTNL proved wrong. But do you know who has the 4th most passing yards from under center in the entire NFL? That would be
agent.
No, you got to be on the field for that, Carm. You have to be on the field to play.
He's become a big time decoy. No, I can't. I say that with love.
Extend him, right? Extend him even more. But no, Caleb Williams has the 4th most passing yards in the NFL from under center.
Wow.
Can't do it though.
Let me tell you though, I think one of the greatest plays of the season was his back turn to a free runner and able to. I know Greg has his Barry Sanders jersey still. It reminded me of that. There's so much that is special that Bears fans just take for granted because he's doing it. And it's like, I don't know another quarterback that could have done what he did in that. I mean, 24 has him dead to rights. Like he doesn't even know he's there, and he's able to elude, but there's so much lower body strength on Caleb Williams that he's able to withstand contact and spin out of it. It was just amazing to see.
Even Caleb said that he weighs 235.
He looks it in the thighs, man. It's just seeing him live.
Actually, exactly what I weigh. So shout out to me and Caleb for being the athletes that we are.
Yes, you guys are similar in every way. I feel like Greg learned what wham block is today because I've heard him use it 17 times.
He loves to.
I'm going to go on the show. I'm going to go on the show tonight, and I'm going to wham block those.
It was on my calendar of the day while I was going to the bathroom this morning. It was my calendar of the day for Football for Dummies.
Jenny, quiz me. Wham block.
Yeah.
When you're cutoff blocking on counter, is there?
Don't ask me to execute it though. Boy, you should have heard Briggs when Booker got cut down on the back end. Briggs, that's why you haven't gotten on the field.
Exactly. Get your hands out.
Yeah, that's so yeah, shout out. We got a few super chats to get in. We'll maybe have a little more conversation here as we start to wrap things up here on CHGO Bears After Dark. Please hit that like button while you're hanging out. I'll run through a few of these super chats. $10 from our guy Jonathan Otten, Bears Fan of the Year. Congrats once again to Jonathan. Thank you for your support to the show. He says, I love the After Dark show and this Bears team. Bears are going to trash the Steelers. Rodgers is 100 playing and 100% going to lose. Bear the F down. Berg Funkster, $5 super chat says, Aaron the Funkster says, Aaron Rodgers, please play. You're not going to own us anymore. A lot of confidence here from Bears fans as they are 7-3 on the season. Tony Man Nissan, $5 super chat says, fellas, the SVFL Wolverines and the Chicago Bears both will be 2026 Super Bowl champs. Bears will be in the playoffs in 2025. Awesome show, Braggs and team. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Tony.
it. Yeah, brick by brick. We're the you can see the vision, Tony. I completely agree with you there. Yeah, 2026. And then my guy Brad Hassey coming in for $2. Appreciate you, Brad, as always. Love you, buddy. Saying, I hope the tight end involvement continues as we all do and as we reach overtime here on CHGO Bears After Dark. All right, we're back here on CHGO Bears After Dark. Hit the like button for Phil and Shyane from the Tape Never Lies Network, always doing their thing here on Monday nights here on CHGO Bears After Dark, and we appreciate all their analysis to everything this Chicago Bears team is, because it's been a lot of fun breaking this team down from training camp on. It's just been a great ride. Jeremy, for your, I always mess up his name, $5 super chat. If you have a comment in here, I'll try to find it, Jeremy, but thank you for dropping that in here.
You wanted to know what a wham block was. He just texted me.
Well, then we'll ask Phil. But that's the thing, like, as we wrap things up, we can go a little over here. Haven't actually talked that much about Caleb here tonight as we focus on some of the other things here in this program, but obviously wasn't a perfect game. We were doing our, franchise focus on the post-game show yesterday. And, when you look at the numbers statistically, it shows that they had an inconsistent day offensively, and Caleb Williams, didn't, probably have as many completions as he'd like. And I know a lot of people are going to focus on the first half and those accuracy issues with missing on some of those deep balls. And my whole thing was like, I really felt like they adjusted in the second half and did a good job of Caleb getting the ball out of his hands quicker. And I thought, made those adjustments. So trying to find our way to this, Robert Lee asks here, and I'll direct this to you guys. You can take it from here, but he says, question, because of Caleb's lack of growth in his long ball accuracy department.
He has a super chat asking the same thing.
Okay. Is Barrett the right QB coach for him? And what is the key to improve long ball accuracy? And then Robert Lee, here it is. Thank you, Phil. Says, do you guys expect to see Caleb's long ball accuracy improve, or is that something we put on the shelf for next season?
I think you're going to see it improve. Honestly,
sometimes it takes just one.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think, and I'm not making up excuses, just looking at the tape, there's been serious issues at the stem of the route in regards to their landmarks. And when you're throwing in anticipation of a deep ball, because everybody gets this Madden thing in their head, like, this is pressure coming to you, whether it be inside pressure, outside, you're looking at coverage, and now you have to look off, come back, and now you're throwing to an anticipated spot. And if your receiver isn't sprinting, or their ability to bounce fade and get separation there, stack them, then the ball is going to look inaccurate. But I would say 70% of the time it's on the receiver not running the right route or getting in the transition as they learn this offense. And whether it be you have to read and understand at the stem, you're going inside or you're going outside, whatever it is, it's going to take a little while to get this rhythm going down the football field. I ask people to be patient with it. And
I would have more of a concern to just piggyback off the comment that's up there from Yad is if he had showed the signs of that in college, I'd be way more concerned with it in the NFL. I think Phil's right. When Caleb is off, you could see that everything internally is kind of sped up and his footwork is off just a little bit. The more that he's comfortable in this offense, the more that the receivers are comfortable in this offense, I think you're going to see more of the downfield game come into play.
Well, the first throw to Rome, even Ben said it in today's press conference, like, hey, you're just trying to get kind of broken into the game. I can understand that miss. The DJ Moore one, I think, is the one Ben and him kind of feel they both want that one back. So I think that one's fair. Then you had the one where he floats it over as he's scrambling left to try to hit DeAndre Swift. That's a tough throw. Most quarterbacks aren't going to pinpoint that every single time, but he certainly has that capability. He has started to dial in the 10 yards and under stuff here recently. So, I think a step-by-step progression as he starts to open up the playbook. Obviously they had their concerns with everything Brian Flores was throwing at them yesterday. So you had that to take into account. William Foster here, $5 super chat says, do y'all think people realize for real that 18 is actually pretty damn good and working on becoming great? This kid is good working on being great. We appreciate that.
100%. I totally agree with that. And I think, Caleb's footwork, to Shane's point, sometimes, and you've seen it in the past, I've brought up Brett Favre twice now. I didn't want to, but you would see Brett Favre to start a game was always wildly overthrowing, maybe a wide open, and you're like, oh, thank God he missed that. And then all of a sudden he gets into the zone and he's hitting everything. It's going to come. It really is. I have to take back my opinion of DJ Moore. I thought DJ Moore was going on an upswing. I thought he was horrible this game, like horrific. No eyes catching, not allowing it to get into your body and taking your eyes to go upfield. I mean, he dropped 3 balls that should have been caught. He caught the 4th one he almost dropped, which was a good catch, but that's got to be improved. I thought the throw to Adunze, I just wanted to get it on the show tonight, in the end zone. You got to be Chad Ochocinco focused and get your eyes on the football and stop with this one-hand crap. Go in, get the ball. It's right there. I mean, that is one of the greatest throws you are going to see on all 22 when I break that down, is the throw to Adunze in between a safety, a dropping linebacker, and a corner.
He heard footsteps.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. That's definitely.
You could take the hit. You take the hit. You catch the ball.
Yeah, Rome's not an undersized guy himself. That's the issue.
Let's go.
Again, not making excuses for him. You could tell even on the rewatch that he wanted that back. And it was a good place ball, or at least decently placed. Maybe Caleb could have brought it a little more into him. But yes, I agree. If Rome, really, if Rome just goes all out for it, he's going to take a hit, but he's likely to have a touchdown, or the defender makes a good play and jars the ball loose. But that's the price of playing poker when you're playing in the National Football League. So he did have that one nice catch to start the second half where Caleb pinpointed it. Then he gets back up and then he rumbled for like 10 more yards. That was
great.
And Manungai was the guy to push the pile. I know Brady was giving the big men the credit for pushing the pile, but it was the Manungai who's my guy. And
I need an After Dark t-shirt, Greg. Do we get
one?
I
got the Angry Runs t-shirt, much to the chagrin.
No.
It's a great shirt.
After Dark t-shirts, Greg. They're wanted everywhere.
Okay, we'll get to those next. William Foster's footing the bill for the upcoming After Darks t-shirt with a $10 super chat coming in here, bringing a few at the end here. Says, none of these wide receivers are getting any separation, to be honest. It's insane. Like, none of them can get open. And then Ben just said he doesn't like 50-50 balls. That's all Rome caught in college. That was a good underline there, William Foster, from Ben's presser today. Dan Weeder asked about those deep passes where the inaccuracy wasn't there and or the inaccuracy was there and they weren't on point. And Dan kind of framed the question like, hey, do you want him to, give his wide receiver an opportunity to catch that and maybe a better 50-50 ball? And Ben really pushed back on that point and was like, well, I think if you know anything about me and the way I call plays and the way I scheme offense, I don't like 50-50 balls. I want my wide receivers to have 100% opportunity to make a catch and run with it. So I found that interesting because 50-50 ball is kind of a
He likes
fan.
a bubble screen sometimes, which becomes a 50 or maybe a 30-70 ball.
Yeah. But regardless, I did find that interesting,
Oh, it's great.
because like for me as a fan, I'm like, just throw it up and let him get it. But that's not what Ben wants. Ben wants precision. Ben wants yards after catch. Ben wants separation on routes. And so you can get it and go.
Well, that's why you're seeing a lot of interior throws, because Ben understands what it seems like every predecessor didn't, is that when you have the ability to slant and separate and you have an anticipation thrower, you're going to get big chunks and you're going to make plays down the field. So I'm all for that. I do disagree. I think you got to throw some balls in the back corner when you have Loveland and a Dunze.
Well, and you can put Kmet out there too, and that just the size mismatch.
Yeah.
In that, and you haven't seen much of that. But you know what you haven't heard Ben say either was a lot of what these geniuses before said. Listen, you got to go out there and force some balls. Picks are fine. You're gonna develop. Remember that nonsense?
Yep.
Yeah.
And now we're here, and Ben is crediting, the fact that they're not giving the football away, right? I mean, when you talk about the margins and you look at this team and the turnovers or takeaways they've forced, and then the lack of turnovers that they've given up, that is the difference in a lot of these games. And, the fact that you've got the three, did you guys see this, where it's Kevin Byard, Nashawn Wright, and Tremaine Edmonds are first and second in the NFL in interceptions. And that's without Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, who might be returning here soon. And I think where we could end this.
Oh, wait, hold up, because Jeremy has the super chat.
Yeah,
basically asking about this.
Okay, where's it at?
Scroll up.
I have it right here. I can read it. So sorry, I can't even figure out a super chat. When JJ comes back, do you sit Stevenson or Nashawn? Same question with Gordon and JJ back. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson made this complicated.
I got the answer to this. Stevenson starts. Gardner-Johnson goes and replaces Jaquan Brisker. And Gordon starts. And that's how. And then you got Jalen Johnson, Stevenson, Gardner-Johnson, Byard, and Gordon. That's how you roll. Again, I hate to brag and boast, but Jaquan Brisker, friendly fire, is just football. I don't even know, illiterate. That's like, what are you doing? Like, the kid is about to intercept the ball and you come barreling in. It's just, it gets to the point where it's very frustrating watching this guy continue to put himself in position to miss, whether it be tackling or filling the alley or just playing a football. It sucks to see Stevenson get hurt from his own teammate being aggressive when he didn't need to be.
Well, and Brisker got hurt too. I promise I will give you your flowers if that's what ends up being the case, but I will be shocked if Brisker's sitting at any point for this team. I mean,
right.
He hasn't been, everybody makes their fair share of mistakes on the field, but I will also say that Brisker has been one of the leaders on this team, from training camp on, and one of the vocal guys. And hey, when you talk about availability or lack thereof with Jalen and Kyler this year for different reasons, Brisker, who was the one going into the season, you'd been most worried about it. Knock on wood, of course.
Here's the $1 million question off that, though, real quick before we wrap up. Do you re-sign him?
Brisker?
Yeah.
That is $1 million question, especially now with CJ Gardner here in the fold, because you're looking at Kevin Byard, who also is due a contract.
He needs to be re-signed.
You got to make sure you bring Kevin Byard back, So
Byard needs to be re-signed, Greg. Now.
Send the message before you get into these big games.
Yeah, he is such a good football player. You have an emotional leader there. He ties the whole team together too.
The only way that I am resigning Jaquan Brisker is on a 1-year prove-it deal. That's it.
Me too.
Well, he's done well this year as far as staying healthy. That was his biggest question. He's done well to stay healthy. I know last week he had the back injury against the Giants, and then he almost got hurt on the Tyreek collision. That certainly he instrumented there. But let's end it here, because this is my question to you guys with the Jalen Johnson news. Obviously, we were talking about him last week, so it was ironic that then all of a sudden it comes out that he's now open.
We had everything to do with it here.
Yes,
you're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
I set you up, Phil. You didn't know, but his window was open to returning here starting last week. He was questionable on the injury report on Friday, which is basically how that works. And then he goes back on the IR designation when they list him as out for the game. But Shane, I'll dial you this up, and Phil, you can jump in too. But Kyler Gordon this week is available to come off of IR. And now Jalen Johnson has already shown up here last week. And how is this setting up for you? When do you expect these guys to return? Is it going to be, do you even have the slightest inclination that maybe one of these guys plays this Sunday? Or are they both gearing up for the Eagles game on Black Friday? Then you get an extended rest before Packers? Or is this all looking ahead for the Packers game?
I would prefer their first game not to be Philly if everything was equal. I'd rather them have a ramp up, for that, to kind of get some of the cobwebs out. But it was strange. It almost felt like leading up to the Vikings game that there was almost this weird chance that Jalen Johnson was going to play.
I agree. I feel like he was trying to play.
Yeah.
Because he practiced on Friday.
Yeah, right. And, Jaquan Brisker was talking about how great it was to have him out there. But Kyler, obviously one's coming off surgery. Kyler is soft tissue, but if I was a betting man, I would say that Jalen's back against
this
Pittsburgh.
Weekend. Wow.
And then Kyler, you're going to give him another week to ramp up.
What
Because
about Edward?
With Kyler, you can default to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson playing in his position because he's ready to go. We don't know what's going to go on with. Did they give an update today on Tyreek?
No updates. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Yes, it'll probably come in on Wednesday. I mean, they might be in a position where they are willing to. I don't want to say they're going to overlook stuff, but they're like, oh yeah, maybe.
But Tyreek came back in at the end of the game, right?
But then he left.
Oh,
again.
And then he left again. That's
Yeah.
right. He came back and then immediately left. That's right. I blacked out.
I'm playing them all against the Eagles. There you go.
As much as I'm sorry to cut you off, Phil. That's my fault. But I'm with you,
Great.
Phil. To me, that as much as I get where you're coming from, Shane, is that's not the best environment to reintroduce a guy. At the same time, because you have that extended break because it's on Black Friday to that first Packers matchup, that one certainly makes a lot of sense to me. But I kind of was with you where it was like, is Jalen playing here last week?
It did. It felt weird because it was like, hey, we opened the window, and then there he is out on the practice field running around doing I obviously didn't view practice, but I just didn't expect him to see him out there like that. And then they didn't really say too much. And I'm like, man, are they gonna unlock this dude? But interesting.
It definitely will. And it just, if they can, now I'm just getting greedy every week. Cause if you had told me before the Vikings game, all right, they're going to split, I'd have said, okay, fine. Even the games before that, if you'd have told me, they're going to, win 3 out of 4, whatever, I'd have taken it. But now they keep winning them. And so now it's like, man, this last week to me was a must win. Now this one is a must win. And I'm getting greedy because how many can they scratch out before they really hit the gauntlet,
Didn't you see that tweet going around today from that guy back?
Oh, yeah, the guy that's predicted every game.
Every one of them. Yeah, and he goes, the Bears haven't played anybody. I'm buying more stock in them. 12-5.
Yeah, he picked them 12-5 before the season. and he's gotten every single game right here so far.
Wow.
So
But-
far, yeah, and he
and
has
He's
he
the
has him
time
losing.
traveler, bro.
He has him losing to Philly and Green Bay back to back, and
then
then
winning
winning,
out.
then winning
Oh,
out.
He's got him winning the Steelers,
I
then
like
losing
that.
back-to-back road games, and then winning out the rest of the way for 12
Can't
wins.
lose to Green Bay.
Well, they'd beat them at home, but he has them losing
Yeah.
at Green Bay. So it'll be interesting. I did see that. That was pretty wild. So we'll see, man. But it's exciting if the Bears can find a way to get to 8-3 this week before you go into a Philly game on a short week where Philly, offensively doesn't look that great, and now they
Yep.
lost their tackle,
right
their
tackle.
star tackle. It's like, hey, maybe you catch them on a bad day. They don't seem to be getting
Don't-
along perfectly.
Don't
in
forget to
Philly.
look up the Seth Joyner comments on Jalen Hurts that came out today. That was
I mean, it's
Wild.
definitely not. I mean, they're
Really?
winning games,
Oh, yeah.
but they're not getting along great over there. So I
Yeah,
think
AJ Brown's going against the team. They're having all
but
this
it's not
drama.
that. They're putting it all on
Hurt?
Seth's putting it all on Jalen.
yeah.
Oh,
So if you're 8-3 and you're going to that game and you're kind of playing with house money in a way,
you gotta
yeah.
play your players.
you know.
And listen, I want to go back real quick. Last point from me, I'll shut up. Brisker, to me, if this transpires where you get Gordon Johnson back, I said it on the last show, I would be moving Brisker into that will or inside backer in nickel situation, especially if Edwards isn't there. He's way better in coverage than
I almost think that's what
Sewell.
Jaquan wants.
Sewell.
That's
Yeah.
what I feel like.
he would be
Yeah.
better roaming in that short area than over on the hashes
Yeah.
trying to cover ground. He just hasn't done it. But you might see, I know the 49ers were able to take a safety. Obviously, the Cowboys with Woodson take a safety, then put him in a linebacker type of role. That's what I think Brisker needs. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think he doesn't understand football angles.
They
from
kind of
safety.
like how Minnesota uses Metellus a little bit.
Exactly. You put him in there, allow it. You got tight end here. Okay, you're in cover 2. Now you got curl, seam to flat. Like that would be great for him. And now you're looking at a huge upgrade to Sewell,
Yeah, and
especially
the
if
other
you don't
injury you
those
got to look
other
at.
guys. Any
Right.
of them.
Well, right, and the other injury that we're monitoring is TJ Edwards, and when he can
Yeah.
return.
That's the guy we need. I mean, he is.
Yep.
He is missed watching this defense. Seriously.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm sorry. I just wanted to
No.
get that last.
Hey
point.
man, when the Bears are 7-3, we all of us were doing shows every week last year as the Bears were losing 10 games in a row. And so we will sit here and enjoy
we were.
this while the Bears are in first place for the first time this late in the year since 2018.
Right.
As long as we damn well please. So
The
have
only
no
person that's got
problem.
it better than us is Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor taking over for Justin Fields, certainly.
Again, he's been benched.
Yeah, so that's it there
The
for.
Hall.
I mean, we'll see if I don't know if the Jets are going to keep him. I know they had a 2-year contract, but that's going to be interesting to see.
Let
how
me answer
all-
that for you. No,
No.
No,
they're not keeping him.
See
He's
if
gone.
see what Fields' future becomes, but we know what the future of the Chicago Bears is, and that is Ben Johnson and a Super Bowl trophy is in sights. I can feel it, Phil. This
Yeah.
guy is the real deal, Holyfield, and he will not be satisfied until he gets his trophy. So can't wait for that. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to CHGO Bears at 1 p.m. Central. And then, of course, make sure you're subscribing to Phil and Shane's network at the Tape Never Lies network. They'll have Keeping It 100 on Wednesday as
Got a
they
good
do
little show planned for
every-
you Wednesday.
every single week. They are killing it. And we appreciate your guys' support as always to what we do here on CHGO Bears After Dark. Thank you to everybody hanging out. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. CHGO Bears tomorrow. So much more the rest of the week. Don't miss out on it all. And as I always like to say, keep your head up and always bear down. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
We all silly like the mayor.